we are here to talk about the 1995 film Empire Records. Not based on, I guess the title is the store in the movie, the record store. So, this film, created in 1995, as I said, was directed by Alan Moyle. I didn't know too much about him before this. He also made a film called Pump Up the Volume with Christian Slater, which I just read the logline, and it seemed pretty cool. I looked around to see if I could find it on anything, but I could not, unfortunately. But I'm definitely interested in seeing that based on what Empire Records had. Because I read on a few places when they were talking about Alan Moyle that Pump Up the Volume may be more like cohesive, probably his like most credible work out of all of them. So seems cool. If I ever find a way to watch it, I definitely will. But Empire Records had a budget of $10 million USD, and its worldwide gross after its release was $273,000. That's not a lot of money. And I saw a really good video. Let me make sure I credit the right person here. It was a good video by the YouTube channel Good Bad Flicks called Exploring Empire Records. And they talked about how they were initially going to release it to a wider audience. But when they had their test screenings, it screened well amongst younger people, but not amongst older people, which, I mean, makes sense given the style of the movie. But it seemed like, based on that, they kind of just pulled the wide release, pulled a lot of the marketing, and it just didn't. I think it was 87 theaters across North America made up its theatrical release, which is unfortunate. And apparently they cut a bunch of the footage that the director initially wanted in the movie from the movie, made it shorter, made it more just like of a music video montage kind of with these loose plot bits, which is unfortunate because I'd definitely be interested in seeing some of the other plot elements. The video talked about it in a bit. I think I'll talk about the characters first, and I'll go back into some of those deleted scenes that were later revealed. I think there was a Blu-ray release that they might have added to the story or something. But alas, Empire Records. So I guess a loose plot, a log line, if you say, would be that a struggling record store with many flamboyant and over-the-top employees loses a bunch of money due to one of the employees' recklessness and is going to be bought out or replaced by a music town, a corporate record store. But they all gang together and try to gain enough funds to save the record store that they love and really just save the culture of their store that they love. And that's a very loose plot point because or a loose statement of the plot, because the movie does revolve around some of the characters and like their arcs. Like they're there, and at moments they really, really try to highlight them, but like it's just showing the life hanging out in this fictional fantasy record store. This is the life every kid wanted to have in the 90s, it seems like. But at the same time, where surface level, it may be like, it's not really that deep or anything, but it's just a lot of fun. And so moving on to some of the characters. So first of all, we'll talk about, it's hard to pin a main character. So on the poster, you have Liv Tyler. She's front and center. But it's hard to argue who's the main character. We start off by looking at Lucas and his gambling away of the money at Atlantic City. Then we focus a lot on Joe, who's the manager there. But it almost feels like he can't be the main character because it's about this ragtag young group of kids, and he's their father figure, right? He's never the main character, just typically based on, how movies have trended. Who else we got? We got Renee Zellweger, which I would argue Liv Tyler's character is probably more of a main character than her. But again, Liv Tyler's character, loosely. You have AJ, who I feel like, he definitely, AJ played by, Johnny Whitworth. Got it. And Liv Tyler, their romance kind of seems like a pretty central plot because, they build up him trying to ask her out for a lot of it. And then in the end, they're definitely a part of the climax in the end of the movie. But are they the main characters? I don't know. It's hard to pinpoint. And I think the train of thought that I'm going on after this is that the main character is the store. The store is the titular role, Empire Records. And hey, that's dope because the whole movie, you can call it a character study on a location. I remember one time we had a assignment in university. It was in the nonfiction class, documentary class, and it was called Reveal a Space. And it was supposed to be kind of like a character study on a location. They didn't specifically use those words about it, but it was trying to show a location and then show a change within the location. And I think the assignment was to have no words and like limited people in it. And I did a bowling alley. It was just a lit up bowling alley, and then it transitions to glow in the dark, and then the cinematography changed a bit. But alas, what I'm saying is that locations are just as important as character, and I think that's why this movie thrives. Whereas some of the actual human characters may have been less developed, the entire history, the entire culture just of the record store Empire Records is developed so well, and all these people populate it as like the different character traits of this record store. And hey, that's why it works. And you literally have a plot point of the record store being scared of being sold off to this corporate company, and then it finds the strength to overcome these odds and survive in the way it wants to. So yeah, it's a character study on a location, which is cool to see. Okay, so the characters, like I was saying about the main characters, doesn't really matter who's the main character. So we have Anthony LaPaglia, I believe is how you say his name, as Joe, the manager. Joe was awesome. I love Joe. His hair flowed. It was lovely. I mean, there was some crazy hair in this movie. You had Burko, whose hair was crazy. I guess AJ's hair was pretty luscious. And then Rex Manning, they make jokes about his hair. But I think my take is Joe, the manager, had the best hair out of all of them. I'll say it. I remember one time, I think it was when they're kicking Rex out. Joe, he just has that look like he's pissed off with how the day went, And like that one manager character was like, oh man, everything's just going wrong today. This just isn't my day. And then he looks up and then he brushes his hair back. He's like, throws the bag at him, get out of my store. I think it was at that moment. But yeah, luscious locks on that man. But he was great. He stuck out for his employees a little like too much, Lucas kind of dropped the ball real hard. And he's saving him for that, which is a little questionable. But otherwise, yeah, he's a dad figure. And, it's nice to see that he maybe has a lady friend in the end. I like the line where he's like, AJ's asking him for romance advice, and he's like, I'm the guy who's a divorcee and something else, and I'm the guy you want to ask. And AJ's like, yeah, totally, you seem qualified. There's just so many good one-liners in this movie. But alas, Joe, just a love for music. He loves his job, and he was great. I really loved his character. Moving on to Lucas, who I just said lost all the money. And, I think if I saw this movie, when it came out, early 2000s, I think I would have liked Lucas. But I'm coining it right now. The character Lucas, played by Rory Cochrane, suffers because of the Sheldon Cooper effect. You have characters who are unable to understand sarcasm, and that is their character quirk. Oh, they can't fit into society because they don't understand sarcasm. They'll just be so blunt with people. And they'll do some stupid things, piss people off, maybe get beat up or something. But really, he means well deep down, It's not his fault. But, like, okay. I think every time somebody saw an episode of Big Bang Theory, they're like, okay, Sheldon's funny, but, like, then it just went on. How many seasons of Big Bang Theory is there? 11? And then Sheldon just becomes a meme. And it's like, yeah, I really did enjoy Big Bang Theory those first few seasons when I was, like, in grade 10 watching it. And I kind of don't want to go back and watch them because I feel like I would just hate Sheldon now. Damn. Like, I'm thinking back and I'm like, what was so funny about Sheldon? Bazinga. Bazunga. But, yeah, it's just a meme now. And, yeah, I think Lucas suffers from the Sheldon Cooper effect. I just found him quite annoying. Like, he just didn't understand that losing the money was, like, detrimental to the business, had no remorse. Came back to the store. It looked like he was about to, like, run away and, like, his character was just going to be done with. Like, he was on the motorcycle near the very beginning. I thought he was just going to drive away, and it's like, oh, well, this one guy screwed our business, and now we have to find a way to rally around it. But no, he was there the whole time. But, yeah, just, he has no emotion the way he confronts Joe. I mean, there were a few scenes where I enjoyed him, like I forget exactly what he said. It was like, say whatever one more time. And then he does, and then Joe goes and beats him up. That was good. Oh, I did like when he, like, don't leave this couch, and then he tries to stay on the couch. Okay, that's funny. I think it's childish, and I dig it. It's silly. I like that. There are redeeming qualities to its character. He gets a little emotional at the end, which is nice to see. I mean, yeah, I guess those moments work best with the Sheldon Cooper character as well, right? So, but overall, I think I was quite annoyed with him. But, alas, he kind of, could he be the main character too? I mean, in the end, what was his arc, really? His arc was he lost the money, but he thought he was doing the right thing, and then he just sat on a couch and stopped a shoplifter. I don't know. He was fine. Whatever. Moving on. We will go to AJ, played by Johnny Whitworth. AJ, he feels like just like the generic artsy-fartsy music kid. He feels like a protagonist just based on, like, historically speaking. You look at him and he's like, oh, he's probably the protagonist. He's the good-looking, flowy hair, young guy who gets the girl in the end. I did like his character, though. I think the artsy-fartsy parts of him were really funny. I especially liked him gluing the quarters to the ground. And then you have, what's his face? Warren trying to grab the quarters from the ground. And I think he said to him, I don't feel like I have to explain my art to you, Warren. When he asked, like, why are these quarters glued to the ground? That was pretty legendary. Yeah, he was fine. He was just the struggling, guy character's like, oh, I just need to say what I have to. I just need to say what I feel so bad to this girl, man. I'm in love with her. I'm in love with her. We're just like, it was fine. It was sweet at the end. Like, it was on, when you press on the movie on Amazon Prime, at the very top banner, it shows that part of them kissing in front of the Empire Records sign. And like, yeah, okay, it was a sweet moment. It was fine. AJ, mid-tier. Fine. I need to make a tier list for all the characters in Empire Records. I'm telling you, I don't know if anybody's going to dethrone Joe. I do love me some Joe. Okay, after AJ, I guess we'll go to Liv Tyler's character, Corey. Just die-hard Rex Manning fan. Like it said in the trailer, Corey loves Rex, wants her first time with sex. And, yeah, she wanted to bang Rex Manning as her first time, got scared, and then AJ confessed his love to her. She's super smart, does her homework at work, is going to Harvard, I believe. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Liv Tyler. I've seen her in a few movies at this point, and I look at Liv Tyler and I'm like, she doesn't look human. I don't know what it is. She looks like an alien. But, like, she's not bad looking. I look at her, I'm like, this is a real person? you grew up and had feelings and like I don't know. It's a weird thing with Liv Tyler, and I think she's fine. She's the dramatic girl character. I don't know. She was all right. Mid tier. Mid tier. Just below AJ. I think I liked AJ a little better. I liked his artsy fartsy moments. That gives him a little tier above because they're kind of like the two generic protagonists, right? So yeah. Moving on to Renee Zellweger. And she plays Gina. And she was the character's like the girl who sleeps with everybody. And then she gets with Rex Manning. Of course. The sex icon. And what was her whole thing? Her whole thing was kind of like thrown in at the end. It felt like, I don't want to be like my mother. And that was her whole thing. She had mommy issues. But I will say this. The ending scene where she's singing on the rooftop was great. That was awesome. She was fun. But I mean, she and Liv Tyler did work well together. And actually, her and Deb worked the best together. I loved their... I think Deb is top tier. I'll get to Deb in a second. You know what? I'll just move to Deb right now. Gina and Deb. Deb played by... where is her name? Robin Tooney. Deb played by Robin Tooney. Shaves her head at the beginning. That's the first time we see her. We like kind of get introduced to some of the characters. Then she comes in and she cuts her hair, shaves her head, and comes out like nothing happened. Pretty badass. She had some nice like. She was like the doesn't care about anything character. But then she had some really nice moments with like a bunch of the people, right? She had some moments with Liv Tyler in the bathroom where she's like, why are you being so nice to me? Let's not ruin our Hallmark moment. Then she had the moment with Renee Zellweger's character where she's like, let's not bicker over it. Oh, yeah. You know, the shorter your skirt gets, the smarter you get. The shorter your hair gets, the smarter you get. Let's not bicker. Let's just rip. And they rip up the posters for Music Town. Respect. And I really did love the scene where like they stage a funeral for her. That was great. Okay. I'm gonna talk about this right after I talk about the character. It feels like it feels like a TV show, you know? It feels like a sitcom. Like crazy, silly things happen. It feels like a Community meets The Office meets what's that last one? Superstore. That's kind of the vibe. But like music video too. But yeah, insert a bunch of music into that. But Deb, top tier. She was great. Let's see who else we have. We have Mark, played by Ethan Embry. And they said in the trailer, what? Mark having the best day ever. And he just hangs out the store and just puts on music and dances to every song and like humps this picture outside of the building. And like he just loves the music. What was his thing? He wanted to be in a band, right? He wanted to start a band, call it Mark, but should he do a C or a K? That's the question. But he was the one who ended up saving the place at the end. Went on TV and said that, hey, damn the man, save the empire. Great line. He was... I couldn't decide if I thought his portrayal of the character was just like cringe over the top stoner guy where it's just like, I just love music so much and like I'm just having a good time, right? I'm just like everything goes over my head, everything like all drama goes over my head. I'm just, here. But in the end, I think I did like him. He had some really, really iconic moments. Goes down the rail, looks right into the camera, but it's Rex Manning Day. He was fun. He was just fun to watch in the end. They start dancing, and he just is a crazy kid. Yeah, he was great. He just yells things a lot. He was a yeller. I will say that. Then we will move to... What else didn't I get? I guess two of the other employees we have Burko by Coyote Shivers, who had the song at the end, which was cool. And I did hear that Coyote Shivers. I looked a bit into it, and I listened to that song a few times. Coyote Shivers, bad guy. Not the nicest dude. But, sadly, honestly. He has the same birthday as me, and he was born in the same city as me. Not proud of that one. But fun fact that I heard. Coyote Shivers, who plays Liv Tyler's coworker in this film, Empire Records, at the time of filming was married to Liv Tyler's mother. And so he was technically her stepfather, which is weird. Yeah. They didn't seem too big of an age gap. Like, I'm pretty sure he was older, Coyote Shivers. Don't know how much. But, that fact is wild. But, yeah. Apparently he's a bad guy. Did you watch the movie, Lisa? Curious. Empire Records. I liked it a lot, though. I really did. I'm just going through some of the characters now. Who else didn't I get to? I didn't get to Rex Manning, of course. You watched half? Okay. From now on, I won't talk about, like, the second half. But, Rex Manning Day. Rex Manning was cool. April 8th. Mark it on your calendar. It'll be Rex Manning Day. Rex Manning was great. He was the typical asshole music man. Comes in the store, doesn't like the chair he's sitting on. If any fan comes up to him and says anything negative, he's the kind of guy to throw down the pen, get out. What did he say? It was like the woman comes up and she's like, "You're my mom's favorite." Oh, your mom's favorite? Cool. But he was iconic. And his hair was luscious, not as luscious as the manager Joe's, as I stated before. But he was fun. His song, apparently, I heard that Say No More, Mon Amour. Sorry, I'm just looking it up now. They made a full music video because they liked it so much. Like, they had it in the movie. And then, I believe after the movie was made, they wanted to make a full music video. So they made a full music video for Say No More, Mon Amour. Which is legendary. A full 3 and a 55 version.
Oh, Rexy, you're so sexy.
Oh, Rex, this quality is absolutely atrocious.
Well, do you want to come over?
Pourquoi pas? Do you want to come over? Pourquoi pas? I love it already. I love the language, the French-English combination in the song. It's really worldly. Honestly, I like it. Man, this is like, this fictional musical artist is like top tier alongside Robin Sparkles from How I Met Your Mother. Let's Go to the Mall is a great song. Rex Manning isn't on Spotify? Oh my, Rexy. Not so sexy anymore. Dang, not on Spotify? That's really sad. I guess the only way you can get your Rex Manning fix is on YouTube, unfortunately. Oh, Say No More, baby, je t'adore. Oh, man. Yeah, this is genius, really. It's a francophone song, I'm sure. This is alright. What did he just say? Je crève ton poire. Is that what he said? What? Je crève ton something. Because what? Poire. Oh man. I'm trying to extract the French knowledge that I have out of my brain right now. Yeah, a pear? That's ton poire. Poit. P-O-I-T. I don't know. What is skin in French? I forget. Let me look it up here. Skin. Le peau. Je crève ton peau.
Oh, je crève son poil.
It sounds like pear. Maybe that could be just an innuendo. je crève ton pois. I don't know, but.
Oh, je souffre.
Oh, Rex. Man, I want to hire, like, so many of the things he's saying, I want to know what he's saying, but this version is so bad. Okay, let me go see if there's a better version. I just want to listen to that part, where he's just saying all this French stuff. Oh, this is good.
Ta bouche délicieuse.
Ta bouche et les yeux. I like how he pronounced the S at the end of yeux, even though there actually is no S. He puts an S on the end of yeux. Oh, ta bouche et tes yeux.
Oh, je crève son poil.
Son? No. I want to know what it is.
Oh, je crève son poil. Oh, je souffre. Je souffre. Qu'est-ce que je veux? Qu'est-ce que je fais? Oh, ta bouche délicieuse. Ouh, ravissant. Oh, bébé. Say no more, mon amour. I'll bring my love and rock to your front door.
Okay. I'm curious. Maybe at the end there's more French speaking.
Oh, bébé. Oh, mon amour. Oh, mon amour. Mon amour. Mon amour.
Oh, Rex Manning. So yeah, Say No More, Mon Amour. Really sad it's not on Spotify. That is very unfortunate, but French immersion certificate is coming in handy. This is probably the most I've used my French immersion certificate to dissect a piece of media since I've graduated high school. So now we know what Rex Manning is saying during those interlude moments in Say No More, Mon Amour. You know, and I'm really happy that I knew those words and I could understand them. Very happy. La Chance would be proud. Miss that man. I hope he's doing well. Okay, so as established, Rex Manning, absolute legend. I remember there was one shot where Rex Manning Day just started, and then Liv Tyler's character brought out like a cardboard cutout of Rex Manning, but at first it was coming to the doors, and you just saw it through the window, and it looks like just a static Rex Manning. I was like, what am I looking at? Is Rex Manning already? And why is he not moving? That was a wild shot. Okay, Rex Manning. Any other characters I didn't get? His assistant, who apparently in some deleted scenes had another scene with Joe to establish their relationship more. But hey, she was cool. Stick it to the man. She's in the spirit of Empire Records. Sticking it to the man. Damn the man, as in this time Rex Manning, and ditching him. Respect. She was cool. Did I hit all of them? Oh, like I said, Coyote Shivers as Burko. And I guess you have, I think his name was, Warren. I'm missing Warren. Warren was great. Loved Warren. The shoplifter. Yeah, he was great. He was like, I think at first I was like, man, he's just overacting. But at the end, his overacting was actually hilarious. So, yeah, I really liked Warren and, not his actual name. His name's not Warren? His name's not Warren? I thought his name was Warren. That's so funny. Joe comes in and asks him his name. Oh, Warren Beatty. And they just call him Warren the whole time. Love it. Love it. Moments like that. There's, a lot of moments that feel improvised. And it's just yeah. Which is what makes this movie so fun. Yeah. Big fan of Warren. Respect the hustle. He just wanted his Whiskey Houston CD, really. Then I think that's most characters. There's also a character named Eddie, played by James Willis, who was the kind of the stoner guy with the long hair. He did have a quote that was great. He did have a quote, which was great. I don't think you got to this part, Lisa, but it's not the biggest spoiler. Because I think it's already established at the beginning that, what's his face? AJ liked Corey, wanted to confess his love to her. And there's a moment where Eddie sits down and he said, like, the movie is so crazy. And at that point in the movie, I was like, what is happening? And, like, none of this is making sense, but I'm enjoying it. And it's funny that this part, like, made the most sense. He says to AJ, do you know where Harvard is? AJ goes, it's in Boston. And then Eddie goes, no, I mean, like, do you really know where Harvard is? Like, it's another planet, man. It's another universe. And I'm like, oh, that actually made a lot of sense. Out of everything, the one stoner guy, sometimes they just know what they're talking about. I got to when Liv Tyler wanted to give Rex Manning his meal, and then you stopped. Ah, yes. Oh, okay, did she go give him his meal yet? Did you get to that part? Because honestly, there's kind of a moment right there where I want to talk about it. So did you get to that moment yet? Oh, okay. Here, Lisa, go watch it until the scene. Watch the scene where she gives him his meal. Watch up to that and then come right back. I want to talk about something, but yeah, go do that right now. Go. That's your assignment. Don't listen to me right now. Okay, thank you. It'll probably be like 5-10 minutes. It's like not too far after. Okay. Okay. Now that she's gone, we can talk a little more spoilers. Okay, so yeah, like I said, I wrote down a few scenes that I like Deb's funeral, quarters glued to the floor. Oh yeah, there's another Eddie moment. He says to Mark, he gives him his brownies. No, they're not pop brownies, you know, just normal brownies. And he says to him, oh, it's my special recipe. You know what that means? Lots of sugar. And that was the thing that Good Bad Flicks pointed out in their YouTube video, that it seemed like it was a script that was written to be maybe R-rated or a little higher rating than PG, I believe it was. And so they couldn't have references to specific substances, no smoking or nothing like that. And so just lots of sugar. But it was heavily implied with another scene that I loved was him watching the TV, Mark watching the TV, just doing his shtick, just giggling at everything. And then the TV starts talking to him. And it's this whole like scene that goes on for a couple minutes of him just looking at the TV and watching himself being a part of this band. Initially, it's like a good trip, a good dream. He's a part of this band on a stage, and then he starts to watch his own death. The weird creature thing starts to eat him on stage, and he's looking at it. He's like, doesn't know what to think. Should he be scared? And then he just laughs it off. Oh. It's like, I think that scene encapsulates the movie a lot. I don't know why. I resonated with it the most out of any scene. It's like, it doesn't have anything to do with the plot whatsoever, but that's the kind of stuff I want to see. And, you know, some of the other scenes were along that line. So, you know, I respect it. And, yeah, that scene was sick. Oh, yeah. Oh, another good line. AJ says to Mark, listening to this crap is guaranteed to make you sterile. And then Mark goes, well, maybe I want to be sterile. Oh, lines like that. Okay, so I went through all the characters and everything. Yeah, so another good line was that Mark on the phone, I think they put in the trailer too. Empire Records open till midnight. Wait a second. Midnight! Somebody asked when he's open till. Just small moments like that. Make it super fun. But okay, none of these workers work. It's one of those, like I said before, it's like a Office meets Superstore meets, what was the other reference I had? Office meets Superstore meets, what did I say? How I Met Your Mother? No. Meets Big Bang Theory? No. Meets Community. That's the one I said. Yeah, Office, Superstore, Community, where it's like it has these crazy characters and they like do crazy things in the story. I think that's the most along the lines of like, honestly, all three of those. I love all three of those. They're very related, you know? And like I feel the most like in Community, you'll have moments that are just like not in the plot whatsoever, like Troy and Abed in the morning. There's just so many shticks that they all roll with, right? And that was a lot of this movie, which is fun. And then you have like the employees, the superstore aspect and office aspect, yes. And like it seems like they're just not working the entire time, because the most interesting stuff happens when they're not working. But like literally the entire employee base of this store just hangs out in the back room while one guy handles everything. Okay. You just saw the scene where she ran out and started crying. Okay. What I wanted to say is, I looked, there was a video that I would recommend watching after you watch the whole movie by Good Bad Flicks on YouTube. It's called Exploring Empire Records. And it showed some of the deleted footage. I think it was included in the Blu-ray edition of the movie. But during that scene, because it seemed like the script was written to be more raunchy, maybe like an R rating rather than what it is now, a PG rating. There you can watch the take of Rex Manning. He unzips his pants and then he grabs a bottle of blue cheese and he says, "I hope you like blue cheese." And he pours it on himself. That would have made it so much, like an R-rated version of this would have been just that much better. It's so good. I hope you like blue cheese. Oh, Rexy. Oh, Rexy. That's your definition of sexy. But yeah. I wanted you to watch that just so I could say that. And you understand what I'm talking about. Because, yeah. There's a few things also in that video that they said that a few people who were considered for some of these roles were Tobey Maguire might have been one of the characters in the movie, which would have been amazing. I would have loved to see a Tobey Maguire just jamming out again, because you have the scene in Spider-Man 3 where he shows off his dancing chops. And then this would have just been him dancing in Record Store. Oh, the amount of meme potential for Tobey Maguire. Oh, man. When he first told me to watch this, I Googled it, and his name came up first. Tobey Maguire's name came up first? Wow, that's crazy. But yeah, that would have been crazy. What could have been in an alternate universe? Maybe in the Spider-Man universe that Tobey Maguire was in, he was in Empire Records. Yes. Did you watch the whole, or I guess you haven't seen the whole movie, but were you watching the movie and thinking he was going to appear? Because he doesn't appear. I'll tell you that. Maybe I shouldn't have ruined that. Maybe you could have held out your hopes for this whole time, but yeah, he does not appear, unfortunately. Also, for the character that Coyote Shivers played, the guy who plays the guitar, he's kind of like the guy with the long black hair, not the stoner one, the other one. That's so funny. Was originally, I think somebody who was considered for him was Billy Joe Armstrong of Green Day, which would have been crazy too. That would have been crazy as well. And also for, I believe it was Deb, Angelina Jolie was considered. Imagine her in a bathroom shaving her head. I don't know how old she would have been in that. 95? I don't know. I don't really know how old Angelina Jolie is, but yeah, that would have been a crazy cast. What if cast? But I mean, I do like the cast that we got, so. But yeah, like I said before, on the Blu-ray, there was apparently additional footage of stuff like what's her face? Liv Tyler's character, Corey. There's a scene establishing that her sister comes in and says that she got into Harvard. There were scenes with Jane and Joe getting to know each other more. Apparently there were scenes of just like employees talking about their music and why they like it and just exploring that, which would have been cooler. I do think that kind of footage would have benefited because, yeah, it seemed like the studio was just like, hey, just making a music video. Let's just dance around, which was fun. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just interested. I feel like maybe it could have been elevated more than just a cult movie and people have been like actually resonating it with a bit more. But yeah, overall, I did like it quite a bit. I think that I think I said this while you were gone, Lisa, that it feels like a TV show. This feels like a really long first episode to a TV show. They saved their store against the antagonistic force of Music Town. They all rallied together, and now they're closer than ever, and they can continue their shenanigans at Empire Records. And I mean, just so many of the scenes feel as a part of, yeah, like a silly TV show. I said it's a merge of The Office, Community, and Superstore. That's what this is. Yeah, because you have like the unique, quirky characters. They all do their own thing. And then you go off and you do these crazy things. None of them work. You go off, you give Deb like this fake funeral. That's just like the sweet moment near the end of the show, or near the end of the episode. You have oh, sorry, you don't even know what I'm talking about. Okay. She doesn't die. I'll tell you that. But like, it feels like a TV show, which is like, that would have been interesting. But I liked it in its own right. Hour and a half, pretty fun romp that kind of felt like that. And this as well is not really a spoiler, but I think, in my opinion, I still do and I wanted to say used to, but I technically still work there at a summer camp, make a movie summer camp with kids in elementary school. And my one theory that I push towards all of them is that every great movie ends in a dance scene. And you know, this movie comes through for me. Proves my theory that every great movie ends in the dance scene. And yeah, the song at the end of the movie, there's a song called Sugar High. It's by Coyote Shivers. Bad guy, apparently. And Renee Zellweger sings in it too. And it's sick. It's a good ending. You'll like the ending. It's fun. Yeah. Also, I feel like I watched a couple videos on it, and it feels like the majority of Letterboxd comments, reviews on this film are, I wish this was me. I would kill to be Liv Tyler in this universe. Oh my gosh. I wish I worked at a quirky record store in the 90s. What I wouldn't give to live back in the 90s. And, I don't know, it's the kind of movie where it's like this time capsule thing, an encapsulation of this generation, but as well as very much a fantasy. It's kind of like the thing that everyone's like, I wish this was me. And like they yearn for this, even though it's completely fantasy. There's no record store that's going to let you dance around all day instead of working. And none of these characters exist. But yeah, it's this fictionalized version of the 90s that is the time capsule, which is fun. I liked it thinking about it like that. But yeah, I don't know what else I have to say. I feel like I've hit most of the points. It's just romanticizing the 90s vibes. Is that good? Is that bad? Is nostalgia hurtful? Who knows? But hey, I enjoyed the ride. It's one of the movies I think that, yes, it has a cult following now, barely made any money in theaters, and like the story has, I think if it really focused on the characters and developing the characters, I think I would have liked it less. Let me rephrase that. I think that if they had a few more scenes developing the characters, that would have been made a better overall film. But if they did that by cutting some of the weird, doesn't make any sense moments, then I would have liked it less. Because those doesn't make any sense moments are what I love about this movie. Them just breaking out, dancing, and just acting like their fantastical version of 90s people is the most fun part. Also, Lisa, what do you think of Lucas? I think Lucas is annoying, and he suffers from the Sheldon Cooper effect. That Sheldon Cooper has ruined all characters like him that like don't understand sarcasm, don't fit into society, but mean well in the end. I think he suffers from that. But overall, every other character is pretty fun. And he doesn't drag it down too much. At the beginning, it highlights him quite a bit, but then he gets a little more tolerable, which is nice. But yeah, not my top. He was my bottom tier. Joe is my top tier. The manager, Joe. He's the man. Him going into his back room. He has his drum set in there. Yeah. Joe's the man. Lucas, rightfully so, deserves to get roasted by Joe. But, yeah, overall, Empire Records is a fun 90s romp. It's a character study of a place rather than of people. The main character is the record store. And it doesn't take itself very seriously. Breaks the fourth wall quite a few times. Mark is kind of just the energy of the store. It's like he doesn't get emotional, just like the movie doesn't have too many. Like, it has some emotional bits, but like, you don't take them very seriously. He just has a good time, and he is the movie. He is the personification of the vibe of the movie, but the store is the main character of the movie. Am I making sense? It doesn't matter, because we're having a good time anyway. That's the vibe of this movie. But in general, I think it would be a movie that is like, it would be fun to watch with a bunch of people. And yeah, the cult kind of fan base of the movie, you could watch a screening of it and like everyone knows all the lines and you have a good time. It could be one of those kind of movies, which I really dig. And I think people would definitely enjoy it. This could definitely be like a get high and watch a movie for some people. And yeah, I think one last element I'll talk about is like, they said in that one YouTube video that feels like it was made just to sell music rather than have a story. I like that kind of music. I thought the music was great in it. I can't say I know too much about that era of music myself, but yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I think that because I didn't know those artists and those songs, maybe because we're watching it so far in the future from when it was released, I didn't mind it as much because it was just like, hey, fun 90s song that I don't know. I didn't pay attention because I feel like for these kind of like movies where it's like in your face references, it could be like, oh, they're just doing this as fan service. They really just want to push this music and everything. So that's maybe your opinion could be, oh, they just wanted to push this Cranberries song in this movie and all this. You hear a song come on, you're like, oh, of course they play this song. They want to push this song. But now I'm just like, oh, fun song comes on. And I'm like, okay, that's in the background of the scene and they're just doing what they're doing. Cool. I don't know. I understand people's criticisms where they're like, oh, it's just a music video rather than a story. But I do think there is a bit of fat to be shaved. Maybe. But, Mark just makes it all worth it. You just, song comes on, looks right into the camera. He says something funny, starts dancing all funny. I don't know. It worked, in my opinion. But alas, yeah, coming to a close here, I think. I gave Empire Records a 7 out of 10. A 3.5 stars out of 5 on Letterboxd. But it's one of those movies where it's like, you understand it's not like the craziest, most well-made, most deep, most thoughtful movies, but like, you just like it a lot. Like, looking back, I'm like, I look back and smile at the movie. I really, really did enjoy it, and I had a good time. And again, I always say this. Reviews, the star rating doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's about the discourse and talking about it. That matters more than just the star rating. So I say my star rating every time. Maybe I should just stop doing that. But I feel like it's just a way to close out. Be like, yeah, this is what I gave it, blah, blah, blah. Kind of like, I guess it's just how like reviews go. Just the typical formula. Maybe I should break the formula. Okay, whatever. But yeah, I think that if you're looking for a lighthearted, fun, kind of just hour and a half long episode of a really funny, well-made TV show, this is it. It has the How I Met Your Mother-esque fictional movie character, Rex Manning. Rex Manning and Robin Sparkles duo. That would be epic. I want it to happen. Maybe somebody could like make a mix of Let's Go to the Mall and Say No More, Mon Amour. Somebody could mix those two movies together. I have no clue if they would fit or not, but that would be pretty epic. Oh, one last thing. Yeah, right. I looked it up, and it looks like it's actually going through with it. It was announced maybe in like 2018. There's going to be an Empire Records Broadway musical, which is like, that could be awesome, but I could also see them ruining it. But here, let me look it up real quick. Empire Records Broadway musical. Okay, so okay, this article is from, this is very recent, December 7th, 2021. Okay, it has a bunch of actors that I don't know. Catherine Gallagher, Drew Gelling, Rebecca Naomi Jones, and more to star in Empire Records. There's been an industry reading. Tony Award for Best Original Song. Yeah. But yeah, there was a industry reading, and oh yeah, they had it's already cast, it looks like. Bunch of cast. Oh, casting by this person, direction by this person, stage managed by this person. Huh. That could be fun. The logline of the musical is Empire Records, the last of the independent small-town local record stores, employs a tight-knit group of music-savvy youths. Hearing that the shop might be sold to a big chain, slacker employee Lucas, but it's it's literally the movie. Sick. I wonder how will they use the music from the movie? Or will they, like, make new songs? Because, like, okay, I won't pretend I know the most about Broadway, but it feels like they always incorporate, they're the tip, like, when you think of musical, you're like, Broadway is the kind that incorporates the music with the story, like characters, they always break out into song and everything. And, like, is that what's going to happen here? Like, is AJ going to start breaking out into song about how he loves Corey so much? Or are they literally just going to jam to music? Because, like, I guess that feels in my mind, with my limited knowledge of Broadway, that's like, typical Broadway, right? But, I mean, it still could be fun. But that's one reason why I like Tick, Tick, Boom, right? Because the characters didn't randomly break out into song. They had the cutaways to the Tick, Tick, Boom reading of Andrew Garfield doing that reading rather than having it be in the narrative, which is like, I thought it was a genius way of having a musical. And so some people who are like, I just hate when they break out in a song, that kind of helps it. And I think why I would recommend Tick, Tick, Boom to people even if they don't like musicals. So I'm curious. I'm curious about how this is going to work. But hey, that sounds like a lot of fun. If they can bring the vibe to the musical, they got to have those weird moments that don't make sense. They got to have Rex Manning be an absolute Chad. They got to have Rex Manning pouring blue cheese on his crotch. Bring it back. It's a necessity. But yeah, hey, that's crazy. That is crazy. Okay. I don't think I have anything else to say. Say no more, mon amour. Yeah, that's it. If you have any opinions on Empire Records, hey, let me know. Okay, so next week, I'm looking forward to next week, actually, is March 7th, Monday, March 7th. And there's a few things I want to do on stream next week, actually. So next week, we have the movie Stargate is what I'm choosing. And, every once in a while, I have to get my sci-fi fix. I really do. And I've never seen Stargate before. Roland Emmerich, which is interesting. I know. But this is probably his most critically acclaimed out of all of his movies, as I've heard. Because, yeah, he has done some of the least critically acclaimed movies of all time. 2012, 10,000 BC. My parents say that 10,000 BC is their least favorite movie of all time. But in honor of his release of Moonfall, that didn't come to Canada, I would have watched it in theaters if Moonfall came to Canada. I would have. Because it's a sci-fi movie. Like, I don't care for Roland Emmerich generic disaster movie. I really don't. Day After Tomorrow, not the worst. You know, I watched it in like grade 7 in my geography class. So maybe I kind of have some rose-colored glasses for that of my juvenile self. Independence Day can be fun, right? But yeah, 2012, 10,000 BC. Yikes. Did he do Geostorm? Geostorm feels like a movie he would have done. Oh, I'm looking at his writer. Here, let me. So this is Roland Emmerich movies. Oh, he did a Godzilla. Huh. But yeah, typical. Oh, they announced another Stargate. Okay, there's another reason to choose Stargate. All right, they announced another Stargate. Okay, but yes, this is next week. It is Stargate, action, adventure, sci-fi. I feel like every few weeks, after I feel like it's been enough time, I'm going to choose another sci-fi movie. It's just destiny. It's going to happen, okay? Just live with it. Yeah, I don't know too much about it. All I've read is the long line. There's just an interstellar transportation device. Should be sick. Kurt Russell, legend. Love that guy. The sci-fi horror man. Love The Thing, one of my favorite movies. But yeah, it's on Prime, and apparently there's a TV show too, which I have no clue. I've never seen it before. I don't even know if I've heard of that there's a TV show. I just looked it up recently. But 1994, moving one year back in time from Empire Records, Stargate. Should be fun. Oh yeah, also another reason why I'm looking forward to next week is because The Batman is coming out this Thursday, March 3rd, and I won't do a spoiler talk on it because I feel like there's a certain amount of time I'll have to give, but I'll give like a non-spoiler review, and then I'll make that into a video too, because like, man, I am so beyond excited for Batman. I think I put Batman as like one of my, I'm trying to remember my most anticipated 2022 now. I think I put it as like 4 or 5, I think. And I know Spencer put it as number 1. So it's Batman weekend. There hasn't been a good movie or a big release in quite some time. I don't even know. Has there been one this year? Do you count Uncharted as a big release? Like, but yeah, I work at a movie theater, and like, finally we're gonna have customers back, which is nice. So yeah, next week should be fun. Everybody go watch Stargate. But hey, that is it for me today. Empire Records was super fun. Really, yeah. Honestly, I loved it. It was just what I wanted it to be after watching Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. I liked it a lot more than Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, and I would recommend it to anybody who wants to have a good time and live in the 90s for a bit. It was great. So I will see you next week to watch Stargate. Have a lovely night. I just realized he was saying j'arrive at the very end. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. If you don't know French, j'arrive means I'm coming. But as in arriving. You know, I'm coming over. J'arrive. That is so funny. I love the song even more now.